How happy are you in your accounting job? How's your morale? You haven't been fired, you haven't been demoted, you're still on the payroll, but maybe something's changed for you. If AI's replaced part of your workflow, you need to articulate the part that it can't. I've done an episode on this on the Accounting Influencers podcast. AI struggles with the complexities of managing teams. We know that younger professionals are being more bold, more vocal, more visible, more mobile, more innovative, more tech savvy. And if you don't self-advocate, so you're going to get left behind by default. This is episode 4 in the season, and I want to look at what happens when you're not necessarily let go, but they're not investing in you like they used to. You're not having the voice, the authority, the say that you used to, and it's silent firing. Nobody talks about your next step. Nobody talks about whether you're enjoying the role and what's giving you fulfillment and where your legacy is. And you could be at any level in the career ladder, in the hierarchy. It's a slow erosion of morale and momentum in the firm. How happy are you in your accounting job? How's your morale? You haven't been fired, you haven't been demoted, you're still on the payroll, but maybe something's changed for you. Maybe you're invited to less meetings. Maybe you're not involved in the critical decisions as much as you could be. Maybe some projects are being reassigned or realigned for you. Maybe the feedback's a little bit vague on what you're doing. Maybe the opportunities you once had has gone. Maybe the light's gone out a little bit. The fire in your belly's gone out. You're not in trouble. You're probably just invisible. You're not anonymous. Welcome to episode 4 of our 5-part series. This is the Accounting Influencer podcast. I'm Rob Brown, your host. We're talking about the broken career ladder in accounting. It sounds dramatic, but let's give you some context here. This is something that not a lot of people are talking about, but it is happening. I'm going to read you out some statistics in a moment on another screen. There's a lot of silent firing going on, silent disenfranchising, silent marginalization of people, and there's no formal exits, there's no official redundancy, it's career drift. And it's sometimes by design or default, it's sometimes by accident, but it is happening across the accounting profession. Let's give you some context on this series that we're doing. In episode 1, I looked at the collapse of entry-level jobs. The Big Four posted 44% fewer graduate job ads compared to the year before, with individual year-on-year headcount cuts between 5 and 29% across global offices. I'm going to read you this from a little piece of paper. I got it from a magazine called The Week here in the UK. Stat of the week: entry-level job openings, including graduate roles, apprenticeships, and internships, have fallen by 32% since November 2022. And that was the post-pandemic. Well, it was in the pandemic, but there was a boom of hiring. We all know that. This is likely due to the number of employees using artificial intelligence to cut back the size of workforces, as well as rising labor costs. So I've got that stat out there. So that was episode 1. With AI automation doing those basic tasks, there's no longer a clear path in for the graduates and the people coming in. In episode 2, we looked at the middle people who are exposed and why so many experienced professionals are being laid off or marginalized, or their role is changing, or there's more scrutiny on what they're doing, and it's just less fun. They're just enjoying it less. There's more stress, there's more hassle being in the middle, and they're at risk. And this overhiring, this drive for efficiency, shifting client expectations, it's all affecting the middle layer. It's affecting everyone. In episode 3, last week, we hit the partner level, the people at the top, the senior leaders who were once untouchable. They're feeling a little bit marginalized, sidelined, private equity expectations, more scrutiny on what they're doing, digital transformation, changing cultural dynamics, waning relevance. So where do we go from here? This is episode 4 in the season, and I want to look at what happens when you're not necessarily let go, but they're not investing in you like they used to. You're not having the voice, the authority, the say that you used to. And it's silent firing. Whether they've actually fired you or it's coming, it's got a certain detachment about it. It's when you stop getting mentorship, or those stretch assignments or interesting projects are going elsewhere to the younger, more dynamic people, or nobody talks about your next step. Nobody talks about whether you're enjoying the role and what's giving you fulfillment and where your legacy is. And you could be at any level in the career ladder, in the hierarchy. It's a slow erosion of morale and momentum in the firm. more people are leaving. We know there's been a leaching out of public accounting or private practice to go into tech, to go into doing your own thing. A 2023 Gallup study, this is from way back, I appreciate that, but only 23% of employees worldwide are engaged at work. That was 2023. What do you think that number is now? Is it likely to be higher or lower? I think lower. People are less engaged at work now. So we know about quiet quitting. It's on the rise. It still is. This unbossing, people not wanting to be promoted because of the hassle that goes with it, even though there's a little bit more money. We hear a lot of stories about people going and then the people left have to pick up that workload, pick up that stress without any commensurate changing their package. So before people are checking out, they often experience that they're being checked out of already. They don't jump first. They're often pushed. It might be by neglect. It might be by being ignored. And this is the hidden war on morale. I'm going to read you out some more statistics here. I asked Perplexity, it's my go-to online search app these days, give me some current stats on accounting firm layoffs. Here's what I found. PwC laid off 1,500 in just May 2025. That's 2%. And that's their second round in a year following 1,800 cuts in September last year. PwC UK laid off 175 junior auditors. The cut was due to market challenges. How about that? Deloitte laid off 800 in advisory and consulting and are doing multiple rounds of layoffs in the advisory space. KPMG laid off 330 in audit. That's 4% of their audit workforce. EY laid off a mixture of all levels, including partners, in workforce reductions. That was 2025. So I talked earlier about graduate recruitment is down. The layoff justification is low attrition, so people are not wanting to leave, they can't afford to leave. Overhiring in the post-pandemic boom, we all know that took place. Automation, AI, weaker markets for advisory and tax services and audit. We know there's a downward pressure on compliance fees. Clients value that less because it's that historical look back. Offshoring and AI comes out. Firms are offshoring support roles and leveraging automation. And more this, they're offshoring the middle roles. Because what used to be done with days of experience and application and effort is now done with the push of a few buttons. And you don't need to be client-facing. So offshoring is really playing its part. After the post-pandemic boom, all the automation, the AI, the weaker markets, and meaning there's less demand for the advisory and tax services. Targeted roles was another industry trend that came out here. Cuts have disproportionately affected audit, tax, advisory, and technology divisions. This is the heartbeat, the backbone of an accounting firm. And these hits are to junior and newer staff and mid-level professionals. Talked about offshoring and AI. That's altering traditional staffing models and headcount, reducing overall hiring needs. So not only are firms hiring less in many respects, but they are culling the workforce that they've already got, or scrutinizing who's doing more. The future outlook, it says here, over half of surveyed accountants expect their firms to reduce headcount by 20% or more within 5 years, citing efficiency pressures and further technology adoption. Wow. So there's a hidden war on morale, because if private equity is coming in, or AI and automation, or offshoring, or the economy, and you're feeling like you might be at risk, or you don't know, there's that uncertainty that affects morale. Your career might be stalling a little bit. You might be making contributions to the firm that are not acknowledged, declining trust, both within and outside the firm at accountants. In accounting firms where structures are quite rigid, hierarchies are deep and entrenched, this is a lot more common than you think, and it's changing. So what is happening? My observations. We know there's leadership churn. With private equity, these external non-accounting CEOs and C-suites are coming in. These are making career decisions that they don't care about the legacy, the values of the firm. They don't care about your loyal clients. These decisions are no longer tied to legacy relationships. They are all about performance and not politics. They're all about the numbers. And if you're not producing, then you're not progressing. So that comes under scrutiny. The second thing, we've got to talk about it, AI and automation. Roles that used to carry weight, that used to take a significant amount of resource in a firm, they're being partially done at least by platforms. And if a leader sees your role as duplicative, automatable, or redundant, you may not be let go just yet, but you're on the way. 50% of your job becomes automated. What are you doing for the other 50%? You may get left behind. The third is, we know there's a talent overload. We hit a lot about the talent pipeline in previous years with the whole talent space. The AICPA have done a lot on their talent pipeline advisory board, but are those days past now? Many firms overhired during the pandemic, and now they're sitting on too much headcount, using passive signals to reshape teams. We hear so many layoffs in corporate life and in blue collar life. Unemployment is at its highest levels for a long time. And this is reshaping firms. But rather than triggering the HR red tape, work's getting reassigned, opportunities are being withheld. It's all being done under the rug, under the carpet, if you like. And accountants don't know how to handle this. There's a culture shift too. We know that younger professionals are being more bold, more vocal, more visible, more mobile, more innovative, more tech savvy. And if you don't self-advocate, I'm talking about personal marketing, I'm talking about ethical bragging, I'm talking here about reminding people that you're in the game and you are relevant and you have stuff to contribute that's meaningful. Self-advocacy. If you don't self-advocate or show your relevance, you're going to get left behind by default. And the silent get sidelined. That's the message here. The silent will get sidelined. No longer is it good enough to be good enough. Technical competence is everywhere, in every country, in every role, in every machine. So what can you do if this is happening to you? Through practical applications, as I always like to do on this show, giving you the weapons you need, the insight you need to be more informed, more relevant, more higher performing, more indispensable in your firm. First, recognize the signs. If your calendar is emptier, your responsibilities are shrinking, or no one's talking about you and your development and your feelings and your future, that's a sign. So take that seriously. Second is engage or re-engage with stakeholders. Look at the hierarchy of the firm and the org charts, and depending on where you are, you've got to know who's making decisions, who has influence, and make sure you're in conversations with those people. You've got to ask where you stand. You've got to be direct. You've got to be bold. And complaining is not necessarily working, but being curious about what is happening is going to give you more of a say, hopefully, in what's happening. So number one, recognize the signs. Number two, re-engage your network, your stakeholders. Number three, position or reposition your value. If AI has replaced part of your workflow, you need to articulate the part that it can't. I've done an episode on this on the Accounting Influencers podcast. AI struggles with the complexities of managing teams and managing complex work and managing lots of different parts of tech. The messy stuff, AI is always going to struggle with. The sensitive stuff, AI is always going to struggle with. Even the ethical stuff. So if AI is replacing some part of what you do, double down on what it can't do. Strategic thinking, critical thinking, relationship management, risk judgment, creativity, innovation. Number four, you've got to become more visible. You've got to start speaking up more in meetings, sharing insights with colleagues, working on your commercial awareness, posting thoughtful stuff, interesting commentaries on industry changes. I help leaders and people in accounting firms by interviewing them monthly and turning those interviews into thought leadership and video snippets that you put out there on your social channels or your LinkedIn, or you share with people in your firm, or you share with clients, that amplifies your personality and your personal brand. You can't afford to be silent. The strategy for survival is visibility these days, and it's not vanity. It's just common sense. So number four is be more visible. Number five is create options. Dig your well before you're thirsty. Harvey Mackay said that when he wrote Swim with the Sharks. So don't wait until you're fully out. Start nurturing stuff now. Start inoculating yourself now. Start building up your skills now. Build relationships inside and outside the firm. Audit your LinkedIn profile. Refresh your resume or your CV. Explore opportunities before you need them. Ask people what they're working on. Ask people what they're on with. And number six, a bonus one here is Look at your rainmaking skills. If you're creating opportunities and winning business for the firm, it's hard to let you go. It's hard to ignore that. If you're bringing in new work, opening up new service lines, creating new opportunities, broadening out new niches, bringing in new clients, bringing in new revenue to the firm, that's great. That makes you less dispensable and more relevant. So business development, whatever you want to call it, winning new business, that's all good. And accountants, some people are great at that, but I know we're not naturally salespeople. I'm not an accountant. I'm a part qualified accountant. I'm a former high school math teacher. But I've had to find ways to bring in business. So there you are. There's some applications there for you to get ahead of this. If you're feeling like your morale's a little bit waning, that you are at risk, that the career ladder might be broken for you, you're vulnerable. This podcast exists to help you work with stuff like this. And I work with professionals across accounting that get a little bit stuck, a bit sidelined, a bit invisible, to help them build their influence, to rebrand themselves, to clarify their value and create platforms for visibility. Not being famous, but just being more relevant and informed. Now, we've covered a lot in this series. This is the 4th episode. Remember, episode 1 unpacked the loss of entry-level roles and opportunities. Episode 2 hit the collapse of the mid-career progression, the mid-career fulfillment. Episode 3 looked at how senior leaders are being quietly displaced or marginalized because they're the most expensive resource in a firm. And here in episode 4, we've looked at the silent war on those that remain that fight for relevance. In the final episode 5 next week, I'm going to go big and talk about what the future looks like, what the future firm looks like. I might hit modular teams, smaller headcounts, AI co-pilots, new pricing models, different expectations for everybody inside the accounting machine. It's not just about survival. It's about knowing how to thrive in this new world. And if this series resonates with you, reach out so that I can perhaps help you be more visible, valuable, and in control of your career in a time where the game is being rewritten in the accounting profession. So thanks for listening. I'm Rob Brown. This is the Accounting Influencers Podcast. Have a great day.